Hi everyone. Today we're going to discuss about, as we have a Java project from the previous sessions, we created a Java project and we do have a Maven and Gradle, both the build tools in the project, and we are generating an outcome from the project. So whether it can be a target folder or build folder, this is where our output resides. So if it's a build folder, it's in libs. Within the libs, you can find it. If it's a target folder, you can find directly in the outcome of the project. So it depends on what you run, whether you run in Maven. If you run Maven, it will be generated in the target folder. If you run in the Gradle, by using Gradle, you can find it in the build folder. Now it's time for, now how can you make sure our WAR file is compatible with running in multiple application servers? So application servers, when I talk about application servers, as I mentioned in the previous video, Tomcat is one of the application servers. Say, for example, within the Tomcat, we will be having various versions, Tomcat 8, Tomcat 9, Tomcat 10, and Tomcat 11. So how can you make sure your application is tested in multiple versions within the Tomcat? There should be scenario you need to test with other application servers too. Say, for example, JBoss, Red Hat JBoss, and other one is Wildfly. It's an open source, and also like Glassfish. So these are the Java application servers. We are sticking with the Tomcat now. Ultimately, like if you want to run on multiple application servers and get it tested before you release it, this is how we need to do. In our local system, what we do basically is we generate an outcome. We tested in the previous video that how to run in the Tomcat. Now I'm going to get two versions of the Tomcat and get it tested, making sure it's working fine. So now, as I mentioned before, I installed a plugin here, community server connection. With that plugin, I got a community server connection here, connector, and I'm going to add a new server. Click on the new server and say download server. Yes, I want to download it from internet and say Tomcat. So Tomcat, I'm going to download Tomcat 10 and also Tomcat 11. I want to continue. And do you want to agree the license? Yes. It is going to download entire Tomcat from internet and place it in my local system so that VS Code can deploy the file, whatever I'm generating as part of my project. So now it's going to download. Yes, it's downloaded. Let's add one more. I want to add one more. Create new server, download Tomcat 11. 10.1.3 is downloaded. Now I'm going to use the 11.1.11.0.0 M6. Again, it depends on if there is any constraints in your code which can't run sometimes within the Tomcat. My code, my project, whatever I have, it can't run in Tomcat 9 because of the dependencies of the code, whatever is written. It is compatible only on the Tomcat 10 and 11. That's where I'm giving you a kind of two application servers here, 10 and 11, and we can test it here and make sure it's all working fine. And finally, we can confirm that both of them working. Both the application servers are compatible for my application. That's what I want to do. So now, as I already have a WAR file, I'm going to deploy. See, add deployment. So file. And now, as part of the deployment, I'm going to pick the file from target and then weather.var. So do you want to edit the optional deployment parameters? No, I don't want to edit anything. And also I'm going to add one more. I'm going to add the same file to the different Tomcat as well. Add deployment, file, and same thing, target or build folder, libs, and weather. Do you want to edit any optional parameters? No. So now one tricky part is, as we are running two Tomcats, 11 and 10, both of them try to run on the same port 8080. So whenever we say I'm running a Tomcat, by default it runs on localhost 8080. So I need to make sure I need to change it. If I don't change it, what happens is it will start. One will start. If I say I'm starting it here, you see it is starting on 8080. See it at the end it will say I'm starting 8080 and full publish required. Let me publish it. Publish server full and synchronize it. Whenever the WAR file changes here in this location, it will automatically applied. I mean, it will automatically, you can view the changes directly. That's what the synchronization mean. So now let's do the same thing here as well. Publish server. Now I am going to, it is already started. This is stopped. If I try to start the second one, what happens is this is started already. As it is already started, I can go ahead and browse the application directly, typing localhost 8080 slash London weather. If I hit it, you can see this is the application. This is what my application is, and it is accessible on 8080. So 8080 is already started. Now I'm going to start on 8080. Uh, if I try to start it default without making any changes, it will also try to start on 8080. Let's start this one. I'm starting the second one. Obviously, it should fail because of the reason is in my system, if any process is allocated for port number, if the process is running, it another process can't use the same port. That means one process per, sorry, that means one port, if it is already running or used by one process, you can't run another process on the same port. Yeah, it's a kind of one-to-one mapping. A process, one port number. Another process, another port number. Yeah. So, of course, one port number is allocated to one process, and obviously that process can have child processes as well. In this case, as simple as that, if you want to run a multiple Tomcats, you have to run on different ports. If you see it stopped, let's see what is the error. You see it is telling that uh, port number 8080 failed to initialize the component. There could be some error message, address already in use bind. That means the port number whatever you I am trying to start by default 8080, it has been already occupied and used by some other process. That's where this Tomcat is already been used, and if I stop it for, if I start it and start the second one, it will work. So for now, the main reason is I want to edit this port so that it will not start on 8080, it will use some other port. So right click, server actions, edit configuration, conf server.xml. Again, conf server.xml. This is the file you need to edit it. Here 8005 is one port, line number 22. You need to change this one 8006, and also there is a main port which is accessible 8080. I'm talking about this one 8080 to 8081. Save it. So now we are talking about 8080 and we didn't talk about the shutdown port. You do see the conflict with this shutdown port as well. So that's where I changed both of them, 8005 to 8006 and 8080 to 8081. So now I saved it, press Ctrl S, and now I'm going to start it. Now this particular process or the Tomcat application server should start on 8081. You can see it started on 8081. And if I go to browser and try to access it, I should be able to access it. 8081. Same application running in both two application servers. One is on Tomcat 10, another one is Tomcat 11. So that our application is tested against both the Tomcat versions. So in our release note, in a product, when we release the product, you can say that our application is compatible to run on both Tomcat 10.1.3 version and 10.0.0-M6 version. So this is how basically we tested with multiple Tomcat application servers in your local VSCode before you commit the changes into centralized repository so that other developers can take it. Yeah, this is how we finalize. Hope you learned something new today. Thank you so much for your support.